Hello! Welcome to this video. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, Music Deck on Rack. My name is Brad. I'm your host. Sorry for the messy hair. Didn't really feel like upkeeping it this morning. But we're playing for you today. Well, I'm playing for you. There's no one else here except these guys. These guys are here. And Bob Seeger. But they're not really here. We're listening to Send Me On My Way by Rusted Root. We did Willie Nelson yesterday, so these guys are the next ones on the list of bands to do. Mainly because they're the next ones who have a set, like, in that time, you know? Like, Willie Nelson was at 12:15 to 1:15, while these guys are at 3:40 to 5. And then the other acts I'm going to be doing is later than that. So I'm trying to be in chronological order, right? But yeah, it's not much has changed. Like a lot of stuff kind of like it's easing into it, you know. Like it's still early, relatively early in the day. Like 5 o'clock is when these guys end. So the last days, you know, it's getting close to supper time, and it hasn't really been that hard. The acts, the band order here, if you look at the band order, Mike Ness, he's a little hard, but he's not like super intense music. Our Lady Peace, you know, they're alternative rock, but they're not like heavy metal. Rusted Root is far from heavy. They're just a feel-good hippie vibe band. And then on the other stage, we had Willie Nelson, Brian Setzer, Everlast, and Elvis Costello up to that point. So it really hasn't been that much of an aggressive day. But what happens at the end is it just accumulates. It accumulates to this peak. It really does. Like, it just accumulates so much. And unfortunately, you'll see later on videos, like, the whole weekend takes a toll on people. By this time, too, a lot of the crowd, like, it's not at full capacity. The crowd was at full capacity yesterday. But there's still, like, 300,000 people there. You know, not, here it says, the second large-scale music festival, Woodstock 94, blah, 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 okay? And the attendance was approximately 400,000 over 4 days, okay? So right now, if you're sitting at a 400,000 over 4 days, and the peak was probably Saturday with, like, you know, the most people, probably 300,000, well, this is probably around 100,000 people still there at this point. It does build up because Red Hot Chili Peppers are a big name. And plus, a lot of people come in for just one day. There was day passes, so you could come in for one day. But yeah, crazy thing. I didn't mention, but the pay-per-view was $29.95 for a day, or $59.95 for the whole festival. So if you wanted to watch the whole festival, it was for $59.95 on your TV. Like, holy crap, that's quite a bit of money. But yeah, it's not too bad at this moment. At this moment, it's not too bad. Like, pretty calm. Some things that have happened throughout the day, I'm just going to read a couple things off this article I've been reading from. Security has abandoned some of the gates, the opening, like the main gates there. And that allows a lot of alcohol and beer and contraband, like drugs and stuff, to come in. Also, since a lot of this security were, you know, they were leaving, well, they just take off their shirts and then go melt into the crowd and become a crowd member rather than a security member. So that happens. Around this time, mid-afternoon as well, 2 tractor trailers full of bottled water, condoms, and gum, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, it gets looted. People are fed up, and they go break into it by the West Stage. And a group called the Robin Hoods sells the water for $2 instead of $5 or $4. So they're trying to get more water to people. A few hours later on the East Stage, Everlast, their band that I'm not doing, but they covered. Wait, when does that? I don't want to do Everlast if it's much later in the night. Okay, Everlast 2:45. Okay, so we're okay. Everlast did a cover of Marvin Gaye's "Trouble Man" as a helicopter drew lazy circles above the bass. The crowd was thicker by this point, and stuff, usual stuff began to find itself. Like there was a lot of trash and toilet paper getting thrown through the through the air. Sorry, I was like through the audience. No, through the air. But yeah, no, like things are starting to come back. Like Willie Nelson starts the day off with a nice, really relaxing thing, but as the day goes by, and the bands, progressively get more and more, and people get, drunker and drunker. What happens every other day? Well, stuff gets to become like out of control. Many audience members were hot and pissed off. Like today, like that day was, same temperature as the other day. People were throwing shoes and bottles, and Everlast eventually paused their set and addressed "Karma's a bitch," he said. "You better reorganize that and act accordingly." So I don't know if he's recognized that, not reorganized. You better recognize that and act accordingly. So I think he's kind of warning the corporation, hey, your karma's a bitch. You're being. You better recognize that something's karma's a bitch and something's gonna happen. So. And then he adds, people are trying to blame bands for what the kids did and say what a reflection it is on this generation. All those people are nostalgic for something that happened 30 years ago. I don't think anything real came out of that first experience. It was just 3 days of sex and drugs and, oh, the world is such a great place. Then they went home, became yuppies, and effed the whole country up. So... Clearly, he's not a fan of Woodstock '69, but also, people are trying to blame the bands for everything that has happened at Woodstock '99 so far, but they're not looking at the organization, which is what I've been trying to get at the whole time. And this the guy from Everlast is acknowledging this. It's not the bands; it's the people. It's the people who, were original attendees of Woodstock '69, or like that age group, boomers as we call it now, like that age group. Well, actually, no, they were older, but they're not boomers. Never mind. But like that age group is who organized it, and all they're thinking about is money. Whereas they're just, saying this generation's messed up. Well, actually, it's your generation who's controlling this experience this generation is having, right? So that's what I've been trying to get at, is it's more than just the people and the bands. That's the problem. It's a lot more. It goes deeper. And that's what I've been trying to get to. If you've been able to understand through my random tangents and whatever I'm talking about, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. All right. Well, the music has stopped. I'm not going to continue talking on and on and on. This is going to be a shorter one because I only played one song. Usually I play a couple of sets and stuff like that. But yeah, it's getting close to the end. By mid-afternoon, rumors circulated among the security staff that they would be attacked if they didn't take off their yellow shirts, and that the vendors would be next. And so this guy, Dave Bobella, said there's this weird aura on Sunday. So it's a different vibe. Willie Nelson starts the day off, and people enjoy it because people are coming from off the site to come and watch these bands. And, they're like, wow, this is fun and okay. The festival's a little messy and there's trash and there's poop everywhere, but I'm going to see Willie Nelson. They're coming from their nice warm home. And then all the people who've been staying there the whole weekend, people were getting cranky. People are ready to. it's not like it's like, oh, riot at the end of the day. It's like things are building, and it's not until it gets triggered that thing. Holy shit. All right, so sorry, I coughed, sneezed, and had to blow my nose. All right, so yeah, people were getting cranky, and yeah, the vendors were getting a lot of trash talked at us. Like if you weren't gonna budge on deals, you were on their target list, and you were basically nothing. So this guy Dave, he cut some deals just to be nice. By then, he didn't give a damn if the guy who was working for him made any money, because he didn't want to get hurt, you know. And a lot of kids were seriously blitzed, mostly on beer, especially, and like 3 days of being wasted in the broiling sun was beginning to have a lot of neurological effects on the crowd. The camping areas were full of strange sounds, moaning, screaming, various expulsions of gas. Some attendees exhausted or attempted to beat the post-concert exodus. A lot of people were starting to pack up and leave. But those who stayed appeared to be digging what was happening, but like stuff was also getting a little weird, a little strange. Standing on the side of the path that led back to the tents, was a 19-year-old holding a bottle of Johnny Walker, saying "Free Scotch." She drew, as people drew from the bottle, a man who she had just met repeatedly lifted her shirt, to look. The boundaries and established social conventions that had been assaulted all weekend now seemed completely breached. And yeah, at the perimeter of Griffiths, the fence had also been breached, not by people trying to crash the concert, but by concertgoers themselves. Most wanted a piece of it as a souvenir. So remember I mentioned the eBay, you could buy it on eBay? Well, this is where that happened. Others wanted fuel to start fires. So small blazes, small fires were all around the set there. There you go. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to talk anymore. I had a little bit of sneezing fit in the middle of that. But, yeah. So, basically, it's a weird aura. That's all everything I just mentioned, it's a weird aura. People are really angry, but they're composed at the same time. They're like, okay, we're going to keep our anger until later when we strike as a group. So, that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in to Tunage. I hope you have a great day. I'm sorry, I have moments where, see, I just did it again. I just ramble, and the videos end up being longer than I want them to be because I just talk too much. I can't help myself. But there's all this information I want to get out because I'm on my last week of Woodstock 99, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, especially the last 2 episodes I'm going to be filling. It might be a long episode, but this is going to be cut down because I also had a weird sneezing fit. Alright, Brad, shut up! Alright, have a good day. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye!